and welcome to this week's edition of CTN Community Update. It's been almost 6 months since Hansen Boulevard closed for construction. Crews are building a bridge overpass at the railroad tracks. This week, we get an update on the progress from CTN's Steve Antis.
The traffic detour has been a pain at times for the 13,000 drivers who normally use Hansen Boulevard.
This week, they're moving a lot of dirt.
On Wednesday, a parade of cement mixer trucks on the north side of the tracks unloaded tons of concrete for the bridge abutment. And for those unfamiliar with an abutment,
basically it's a retaining wall to retain the dirt, hold everything back, and then you build the bridge structure on top of that.
Schulte has followed the $25 million project closely and the progress on the southern approach.
As you approach the rail crossing from the south, you'll be rising up on the ramp or the approach, and the abutment wall would be the concrete wall to your right. They'll be working on the wall on the west side of the road later this week.
There was an extensive amount of underground utility work which took longer than expected to complete.
Crews here are maintaining a busy schedule, working 12-hour days, 5 days a week to keep the project on track.
Crews have to build the forming panels for each abutment used for the overpass.
It's actually 3 overpasses. You have the overpass over the top of the railroad tracks, which of course was the major concern. But because of geographic concerns, we've added a pedestrian underpass on the south side of the track.
The pedestrian underpass will connect the neighborhood on the east side of Hansen Boulevard to the city park a few blocks away on the west side. On the north side of the railroad crossing is 108th Avenue, where a larger underpass will allow for vehicle traffic.
It's moving along pretty good.
From Hansen Boulevard, Steve Antis for CTN Update.
Crews will occasionally work on Saturdays to keep on schedule. The Hansen overpass is expected to open to traffic in November. Some additional work will be done next spring, but shouldn't require any more closures. Progress can also be seen at Lyons Coon Park. New playground equipment is starting to take shape, and crews were busy pouring concrete this week. Lyons Park has been closed all summer as the 15-acre site undergoes a complete renovation. It's the last major project funded by the Park Bond, which voters approved in 2013. In addition to a new accessible playground, the park will also have new basketball and volleyball courts, more parking, upgraded bathrooms, and new picnic shelters. The park will reopen in the spring of 2020. A hero's welcome awaits our local baseball team returning home from the Little League World Series. The 12-year-old all-star team from the Coon Rapids Andover Little League finished with 1 win and 2 losses, making them only the second Midwest team in 18 years to win a game at the Little League World Series. Saturday morning, the players will ride in on fire trucks to greet fans at the Sand Creek Athletic Complex starting around 10 a.m. The National Sports Center in Blaine is building a heated dome to meet demand for indoor sports fields. Construction of the nearly $5 million project begins soon and will be financed entirely by NSC. The indoor space will be larger than a soccer field to accommodate a number of field sports, including golf.
There's a real shortage of indoor time in the winter for all the sports. Everybody's crying for more indoor time. We've had some tough winters recently, especially we've had some very late springs.
The dome will be available for rent seasonally between November and April. Teams interested in reserving field time can find more information at nscsports.org. A hockey school with close to 40 years of history in Canada has just wrapped up its second year in Coon Rapids. 70 students signed up for the Golden Horseshoe Hockey School at the Coon Rapids Ice Center. The 5-day camp teaches boys and girls between the ages of 6 and 14 new skills, but it also leaves time for fun. Students get more than 4 hours on the ice every day and learn from NHL players, coaches, and former students. Minnesota Wild head coach Bruce Boudreau founded the school. He says he wants these young hockey players to walk away with good memories and a hunger for hockey.
I've always tried to make it more fun, but we do the same drills I would be doing with a lot of older players. But the whole idea of starting these things is making kids love hockey.
Registrations are already being accepted for next year's hockey school. To reserve a spot, just call 240-429-7685. The cost is $550 per student and includes lunches. A motorcycle legend recently moved to town and set up shop in the Springbrook Business Park. In this month's Business Spotlight, we check out Donnie Smith Custom Cycles.
I started in '64, I was, I believe, 22. This part is where we do our fabrication. You know, I've been in the industry since the 70s, so kind of grew with it and watched it. And Arlen Ness, who was, God bless him, just passed, and Dave Perowitz, who was from Boston. We kind of got to be the three main guys. Three kings of custom, some people call us. Pretty soon we were taking a lot of them bikes and putting bigger tanks on them. This gas tank was a flat sheet of paper, or metal to start with. Usually start to finish are about 6 months. A guy from England asked me that, what's your favorite bike? I said, I haven't built it yet. You know, I was a Midwest hamster, and David was the East Coast hamster. But now we have about 360, 65 members, and we have them all over the world. We have people in Luxembourg, Germany, Italy. In our show, we have 160 plus bikes in the show. Like somebody said, what's the best thing about finishing, building the bike and that? And I says, seeing the customer, you get to see it together for the first time and ride away in it, because they're just like ecstatic, and it makes you feel good that you've made somebody feel good by sharing your art.
Local first responders will be rolling up their sleeves next week to give the gift of life. The Anoka County Sheriff's Office is once again hosting a Battle of the Badges blood drive on Thursday, August 29th from 12:30 to 5 p.m. The event challenges fire and law enforcement agencies to donate. It's a friendly competition to see which department can get the highest participation. Members of the public are invited to donate. For more information, log on to Memorial Blood Center's website. Well, that wraps up this show of CTN Community Update. Thanks for watching. Also, the first week of the Great Minnesota Get Together. If you're headed out to the fair, have a great time and enjoy some beautiful weather.